In this video, we're going to talk a little bit about salary negotiation, and I'm going to give you a template that you can use during your negotiation to either deliver verbally or via email. I've used this template with tons of coaching clients, and I've distilled it down to something really easy to use and really easy to communicate. My name is John Marty. I spent from 2017 to 2021, a total of 4 years at Amazon. I was a senior product manager for half the time there, and I was a manager of a product management team for another half of my time there. So I've interviewed tons of people. I've gone through tons of salary negotiations, and I also coach people on the side for salary negotiations. So if that's something you need, if you need one-on-one individual attention, you can go to the description in the video, and you'll see a link to my website where you can book a time if that works for you. Okay, let's jump into the template. I highlighted 2 things at the top here just to keep on the top of your mind. The first is to determine your anchor, and the second is to not get cornered. Now, I'll switch back to the main video here about determining your anchor. You got to think about this as a line in the sand, a number that if they can't get to at least, you would be willing to walk away. Now, that's an uncomfortable thing to think about. Maybe it's an offer from a company that you are so excited to join, and you're so worried that they might kind of pull the rug from under you and take away the offer, and that all that hard work would go to waste. I don't mean it from that perspective. I just mean it from the perspective of considering all the factors at bay, right? If you work for one company right now and the offer at the next is only 5% more, then really you're making a jump for a ton of unknowns, right? Bird in the hand is what some people like to say when it comes to the job you already have. It's something you already know. It's something you're already familiar with. It's something that you have kind of a template system of navigating throughout the day. And there's a level of comfort, good or bad, from the role that you already have. And so leaving for 5% for you might be like, not so good, right? That's the line. Or leaving for 10%. Maybe that's the line for you. Maybe some people are moving into a role with way more responsibility, and that might be 30 or 40%. It really depends on your personal situation, but at least think about line in the sand. Now, the next one I want you to be thinking about is not getting cornered. You can get into these salary negotiation conversations either via email. They'll maybe give you the offer via email. They did that for me when I joined Amazon in 2017. I was basically sitting in my living room at 5 p.m. and this email comes from the recruiter saying, "Congratulations." And I said to my wife, "Oh boy, we got to move to Seattle." I really didn't want to move to Seattle for the rain, but it came via email. Now, there are others that it seems like recruiters right now have a trend of wanting to do a verbal offer first and kind of get a sense for where you're at before they start drafting official paperwork. Because once they start drafting official paperwork, it's harder to make changes. So they want to get that verbal out the door first. But the key for you is not to react too quickly. Whether they do it via email or whether they do it over the phone, you want to just, from an email perspective, ask for 24 to 48 hours, say thank you so much, really appreciate it. Or if it's over the phone, same thing, right? Create some space for yourself. Don't let anybody try to corner you. This is a big decision for your life, and you want to make sure that you're making the right decision. So those are the first 2 things. Now, from the perspective of the template, I like to start off with just an expectations paragraph. And I like to say that I've conducted a extensive research. I'm trying to highlight it here on the salary ranges for the specific role, and you can fill this in at all these different top tech companies. Now, keep in mind, a lot of my videos are related to top tech companies, but you can use this template for other roles in different industries. I think it works just as well. You could just put competitors in your particular industry. I would say too that this video is not necessarily for people who are doing internships, although if you know that your internship has room for salary negotiation, then definitely feel free to use this. I've just seen a lot of internships where they don't necessarily allow you to do some negotiation. But in any event, you would say that you've done all this research and you feel that the current offer is lower than your expectations given the role scope. Now, you would put the amount of direct reports in there as well. Sometimes that's a key factor for a lot of people. Maybe they're moving up to some type of role that has way more direct reports, and it's important to call that out. The next paragraph here, I'm excited about the role. You want to call out your excitement and that you're happy to accept an offer this week with an adjusted total annual comp of X. So you want to think about all the factors that are related to the specific offer, from bonus to base to restricted stock units. Keep in mind, this video is related to tech, and a lot of tech companies have bonuses and sign-on bonuses and restricted stock units, things like that. Very uncommon. In a lot of other industries, you might just be in a situation where you're just getting a base salary and that's all. But in any event, none of that really matters. Just say that you are looking for a total increase of a number, right? And that has to be kind of your line in the sand. Like, you're not willing to accept anything less than this. And what you would then say is this accounts for an increase of base from X to Y, an increase of bonus from X to Y, and an increase of stock from X to Y. So whatever is applicable for you, you would put those things in there and just make sure that they sum to a total of whatever your approximate total increase number is right here. I go on to say the adjusted salary expectation accounts for a number of things. Now, you don't have to use all 5 of these things. You can add more than 5 of these things. You can only have 2 if you want. So adjust it however you want. This is just a good starting point for you to be thinking about the process. The first thing I put in here is the fact that I'm a perfect fit, or you're a perfect fit for the role. That's usually why they selected you. It's an easy one to put on there. Put on your total number of years of experience on there. The second bullet point, I'm asking for more money because the economy is in a really bad spot right now. Stock markets are down, crypto is down. So in ask for additional stock, as an example in this bullet point, is a hedge against further stock market declines. That should be something that's on everyone's mind right now, given how volatile the stock market is. The third one I put in there is inflation. Now, this was some numbers that I used for somebody else's salary negotiation, but I say, hey, inflation is 8.6%. There are some estimates that July 2022 estimates are going to come in at maybe 8.9%. The higher it is, the stronger your case is made in a situation like this, because you're basically saying, hey, look, 9% of my salary by the end of the year is going to be eroded. And if inflation continues to be as high as it is, which nobody can really tell us where that inflation number is actually going to go, then all of a sudden you're down 16% potentially if inflation was up to that level next year. And that's definitely not, keep in mind, to incite any fear or anything like that. I'm just looking out for you and trying to protect you, because approximately 16% of your salary being taken away just through inflation is a terrible, terrible number. And you want to try to ask for enough to at least hedge against the potential for between 12 and 16 or more percent over a 2-year period. Next thing, number 4, is if you have a competing offer. Now, competing offers, sometimes people have them. I've expressed in other videos that a competing offer is probably one of your best positions for leverage to get a higher number, because they know that you are a scarce resource. I've talked about that a lot in other videos, about this concept of you being a scarce resource versus being a commodity. You want to try to highlight yourself as a scarce resource as much as possible when it comes to this. Now, if you don't have a competing offer, that's okay. We just keep that bullet point off of the template. The next one is your current comp. I put in parentheses here that if it's already higher than the new offer or close, you may want to strategically call this out. Sometimes I don't like revealing a number of my salary, But if they've given you such a low ball, maybe they give you like a terrible low ball and you're like, man, I can't even possibly bridge this gap. That's one of the few cases, and there's nuances to all of this, but that's one of the few cases where I would say, call out that the number they gave you is well below your current comp. That's one of the levers you can pull there and say that to even make it justifiable for you to move, it would have to be at least 20% above your current comp, which is X. And you just call it out. Because if that is your line in the sand, as we talked about in the very top of this video, then just call out your line in the sand right there. Okay, last thing is the closing paragraph of this message. You would say, if we can reach an agreement on the adjusted expectations, then I could join as soon as X date. Maybe it's you saying that you could join sooner than their expectations or something along those lines, or just within their expected range. Thank you for your consideration, and I look forward to your response. Now, I'll say a couple things here when it comes to this, because sometimes people can play a bit of hardball at the end with their language. They could say something like, if we can't get to the line in the sand number, then I would respectfully have to decline. I've seen at Amazon recently, in a lot of coaching clients that I have come through the door, I have suggested to them to play hardball. Now, the only reason I've done that, and this is a very tricky situation, you have to be prepared to actually walk away. So you have to have conviction, either that there's another offer on the table that's better than what they're giving you, or that your current comp is not that much of a difference and it's just not worth switching into something totally unknown. So it all depends on your specific situation. But sometimes when people play hardball and they communicate the line in the sand and they say, if we can't get to this number, then I have to decline, the companies will come back and they will say, okay, what's your number? This happened to me recently. I have another video that talks about a coaching client I was working with where she told them no because she did have a competing offer. They came back after saying they couldn't go any higher, and they said, we're going to make a VP authorization to allow the number that you give us. Ultimately, she didn't wind up doing it because she got such a great offer at Oracle, but it's still interesting. When you do that, sometimes it plays in your favor. Also, when you do that, sometimes it does not play in your favor. So just something to think about along your process with this, but that's really all I got for you. I'll put a link to the Google Drive where this document is located. You can check it out, you can download it, you can edit it, whatever you want to do. And that's it. Hopefully this was really helpful for you. And we'll catch you on the next video.